Welcome to Roots. Today, having a chat with Matt, we have Taylor Lally. Hey Taylor, thanks for coming in.
Hi Matt, thanks for having me.
You are so very welcome. So Taylor, you have a new single out.
I do.
And I believe you recorded it with Michael Momika.
I did.
It is a really, really interesting song. I love the turns and twists that it takes. I love the fact that there's parts of it that sound so jangly and full, and then there are parts that sound so like there's an undercurrent of eeriness and uncomfortableness. Like, can you tell us a bit about the song and just what made you come up with it in the first place?
Yeah, for sure. I wrote the song last year after I came home from uni.
Okay.
And it's probably one of the fastest songs I ever wrote.
Yeah.
In terms of, it was a couple of days and I just stuck at it. And I guess the lyrics are just about I really wrote it as a promise to myself to change. Like,
sure.
I had a many a sleepless night, one of those.
Yeah.
And I saw myself in the future, life not changing, hanging out with the same people, like wrinkles all over my face, like still in the same bad habits, really.
Okay.
I think that's a big part of wanting to change because you're in all these bad habits. So yeah, it was like a promise to myself. So I think because I wrote it for myself, I was like, what a perfect first single, like what a perfect first song to be like, I don't know, yeah.
No, that's very cool. In talking to a lot of musicians, I come across this sort of like songwriting is therapy theme. Like sometimes there are things we can't get out, or sometimes there's things we want to say to ourselves or to other people, and I guess getting that out in a song, especially to yourself, is a very cool way to go about it. But so you were at university. I've forgotten where you were at university. I'm terrible. So where were you for a couple of years? What was the scene like over there?
In Brighton.
Yeah. In Brighton.
Oh, it was amazing. It is awesome. It's I was about to say it's so bright, but it is. It's colourful. It's got a vibe like no other I've ever seen. Some people call it the LA of the UK.
Really? Oh, that is a class name. I think. Whenever you're super famous, they need to change the sign on the town limits and be like Brighton, the LA of the UK. That's an excellent tagline.
Yeah, it's lovely. The beach there. Have you been?
No, I haven't been. I've been to. I think the closest I got to was Blackpool, which is a very different vibe. I'm sure, but
it's on the sea though. Yeah. I've actually seen some videos, some movie parts of Blackpool. It's very like Brighton. It looks like it. Actually mistaken it for Brighton until the beach wasn't the same. It was it wasn't stones. It was like sand, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So it's stones in Brighton.
Okay, that's
funny.
Cool. But it has that sort of sea air, out on the pier, fish and chips. It's something very energizing about being beside the sea.
Yeah.
So the scene over there, there was a load of places to play. It was a pretty nurturing place to be.
It was very saturated with musicians, to be honest.
Okay.
I found it hard to get in. The talent there is very, very, very good. I'm a cover artist, musician a lot of the time because I work in bars to do covers and stuff like that. Watching them over there in Molly Malone's in the Irish bar, it is they play acoustic songs to the track, and it's just very, very, very good.
It's a tough market anyway.
It's a tough market, yeah. I think the closest I got to doing things was I hosted an open mic night.
Yeah.
All right, and got other songwriters in and was playing the last sort of set and promoting it and enjoying that side of things. It was not something I'd never done before. The promotion anyway. It was getting it out and getting people in. That was fun. It was fun, but yeah.
No, it's cool. I mean, you've had a bit of a musical journey. I think the first time I saw you live was actually at a Foy Vance concert in the Yacht Club in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And that was a long time ago. I can't remember if you were younger than 16 at the time, but certainly your first EP was back then.
Gareth and what?
Oh boy, it might have been Gareth and
It was Gareth and Lot.
Oh boy.
Not Foy Vance. But yeah, in the guitar rooms in Hollywood.
Yeah. With Lucy Robinson.
That's right, with Lucy. That was 2015.
Oh my goodness.
Gosh.
It was so you had an EP of songs out back then.
I did. It wasn't out though. I didn't release it, to be honest. I printed CDs off it and sort of sort of tried to sell those, and so yeah, I didn't put it on Spotify or anything though.
Oh, that's cool. I suppose it might not even have been around back then, but all of these sort of streaming platforms, and it's crazy the way things have changed.
That's so true. Yeah.
But, how do you? It is a silly question, but like, how do you feel you've come on from then? Like, how's your songwriting process like come on since those early days of songwriting?
Yeah, that's a great question. Back then, when I was 16 and I recorded those songs, going into the studio was a different experience because I didn't know what was going on. These musicians were coming in and playing, like these fantastic musicians were coming in and playing, and I had no idea how to talk to them, how to like musically, how to like direct. So I wasn't directing it at all. The product that came out at the end, I can't even really say that it was mine because it was a collaboration of these musicians, you know, with just my songs in it, my lyrics and singing. At the time, I didn't like it because it didn't feel like mine. But years later, I so appreciate the music. I think it's amazing. I actually regret not uploading it to Spotify or something.
Sure.
But like it's always there. As it was a learning curve.
Yeah.
You know, something to look back on and go, oh, first experience and what I would do differently now. But your question was songwriting. Songs. What's different? I think emotionally, the songs. There's still a lot of emotional impact in my lyric writing these days, just as before. But I write it down differently these days because I was very wordy and conversational in my lyrics before.
Sure, okay.
Like but now it's like structuring, like describing things in like blocks as opposed to being like real, like Paul Simon, lots and lots of words, you know. I'm actually rewriting some of those songs to release.
Well, that's amazing.
I know, but it's so hard. I've never done this before where I take an old song and I have to go into the head of the person I was, into those memories and rewrite. It's very interesting. It's fun and it's difficult. It's challenging.
It must be really like, it must be like a real full circle thing or like a real sort of purging thing of your mind, to be like, okay, I know where I was then and now I'm going to like tear these apart and repackage and bring them to me now, It must be good therapy.
Yeah, definitely full circle, like you say. That's a good way of putting that. Yeah.
That's good times. So what's next for Taylor Lally? What are you up to now? Are you putting together like an EP or an album or?
Oh yeah, I'm going on a release frenzy this year.
Yay!
Yeah, I know. I'm in the studio like at least once a month getting songs done, right?
Cool.
So I'm working hard and like taking these songs and taking them to the studio, knowing how to get them down right. I'm releasing an EP in June this year. So that's what's next, and then I'm sure shortly after something will come along.
Well, I can't wait to hear more. If people want to find you, where can they find you online? First of all,
I'm on YouTube. Yeah, if you type my name in on YouTube, I'm coming up. But I talk a lot on Facebook and Instagram under Taylor Lally as well.
Okay.
So.
And you play cover gigs around about the place as well.
That's right.
Where can we find you for out and about?
Bangor in Donegan's every Thursday night.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Well, hey Taylor, thank you so much for coming in to have a chat.
Thank you.